Welcome one and all to ETF Investing Australia, the weekly overview show for the week ending on the 14th of June 2019. As always, we are looking at the marvellous exchange traded funds, or ETFs. Let's have a look what happened for last week. Hi guys, this is Scott. I know that most people are scared to start investing because they think they'll lose all their damn money. This show is designed to give you some basic information to demystify the world of personal finances. I want to give you the help and courage to take the leap and invest in yourself for yourself. My job here is to help you guys out. Hey, with that being said, can you guys give me a like and subscribe, and also click on the bell because that'd be a great help to me because I'm helping you guys. Thanks. Okay, let's cast our eye over the ASX ETF top performers. So the top ETF by 1 week total return, we saw topping the list, it was ETF's Physical Palladium. With the code of ETPMPD, we saw a return of 8.8%, which is pretty solid. For those who have forgotten, ETPMPD is backed by Physical Allocated Palladium, which is held in the HSBC Bank in the USA, somewhere in America, probably New York or somewhere. This one is a smallish ETF, roughly $2 million market cap. Our top ETFs by 12-month total return, I should say, losing track a little bit here, sorry about that, is the BetaShares Geared Australia Equity Fund, so code is GEAR. We've seen a total 12-month return of 41.6%, which is very, very healthy indeed. GEAR tracks the S&P ASX 200, rough market cap of 91 million. You actually get a pretty healthy dividend yield from this ETF of about 5%. One to look at if you're looking at something that's geared up anyway. Yeah, moving on. So looking now at the ASX ETF money flows, so where the money has gone to in the last week. So the top ETFs by 1 week flows, we saw VanEck Vectors Australia Equal Weighted ETF, code of MVW, saw an inflow of $12.1 million. So for those who have forgotten, MVW tracks the MVIS Australia Equal Weighted Index, and that's a VanEck Vectors in-house index. Reasonably large ETF, this one, so about $850 million market cap. You get a little dividend from this stock this ETF, if you did own it, 2.66%. Gets a pretty good rating from Morningstar, a bronze rating. Moving on to the top ETFs by year-to-date flows. So we've seen a lot of money flowing into BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF. Has a code of AAA. So year to date, we've seen $209.8 million flow into that one. AAA invests capital in high interest deposit accounts in Australian banks. So it has deposit accounts with ANZ, CBA, NAB. That one has a pretty big market cap of $1.4 billion. Looking at a dividend yield here, so effectively this is the interest it pays you. So if you don't have your money in the bank, you can use this as a quasi bank account almost. 2.03%, which is not too bad compared to what most banks are paying out now in interest. Morningstar give this one a neutral rating, so not bad, not good, just there or thereabouts. This week we've seen total flows into Australian ETFs, roughly 73 million. We also saw outflows, so people taking their money out equaled or roughly $11 million. As mentioned, or as touched on, Bank Vector's Australia Equal Weighted ETF saw the most inflows, and looking at number 2, 3, and 4 on that list below, you're seeing people putting money into ETFs, so bond focused, hybrid focused, corporate bonds of ETFs. So people looking for safer places to put their money. I suppose uncertain times and all those type of things. So yeah, people looking for an alternative. So looking here at the ASX ETF trading volumes, so the top trading volumes turnover wise. So for the top ETFs by 1 week average daily turnover, we saw BShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF, which we touched on just before. We saw a turnover in that one of $13.4 million. Top ETFs by year-to-date average daily turnover, we saw Spider S&P ASX 200 fund, so that's one of the biggest ASX 200 ETFs on the Australian market. Rough market cap of 3.7 billion, but we saw a turnover, year-to-date turnover of 13.2 million. So that's money going into that one. And you can see we've year-to-date we've got bringing up in number 2 position here. You got AAA as well. So the BShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF as well. So you can see that these two pretty much number 1 and number 2 on the weekly, and also year to date they're 1 and 2 as well. They're just swapped. So quite popular ETFs for money, just by looking at where people are putting their money, so where the money's flowing into, you can get an idea of what's popular. So these are the big ETFs, some of the biggest ETFs on the market. So if you look down the right hand side or the left hand side, but predominantly the right hand side, you'll be able to pick out some of the biggest ETFs in the Australian market. So let's take a quick look at some highlights. Resources and commodity stocks outperformed last week. We saw movements on the upside for palladium, as mentioned before, roughly 8.8% last week. We also saw moves in S&P ASX resources sectors funds such as QRE, OZR, up roughly 5%, while agriculture and precious metals and gold miners sort of ETFs all gained in excess of 4%. So we saw China rally a little bit on economic stimulus despite all the dramas in Hong Kong. So if you're looking for those ETFs, have a look at CNU and CETF. They'll be good long-term performers, I think. People are taking money out of ETFs that focus on oil, other sort of energy-related companies, and also ETFs that are long on the Australian dollar. So they're amongst the poorest performers for the week. Yeah, so this is our standard disclaimer. We're not promoting any particular product here, purely informational purposes to give you guys an overview on the market and what's happening. We always need to do our own research, so you don't want to be buying one product just because you've only looked at one product. And you also, you need to take your own personal financial objectives into account, and where needed, get additional advice from a professional. Hey, thanks for taking the time and sticking around to the end of the video. I enjoy producing these videos for you guys. I actually learn a lot of information myself. It keeps me up to date with what's happening in the market. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, also jingle the bell. That'll let you know when the next video is coming. Greatly appreciate your time once again. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Ciao.